Mummy B. Scene 11. Once in the house, Jane turned to me. Mom took certain measures to make sure I couldn't take my diaper off by myself. Jane was looking at the floor, her cheeks red. I have to go to the bathroom real bad. If I just had to pee, I would probably just go. But I've got to do something else. Oh, I see, I said. I was still not sure what she exactly wanted me to do. Well, there is no way I can do that in my diapers. I mean, I know I've had lots of accidents before, but I've always just wet myself, nothing else. Jane couldn't even say the word. So what do you want me to do? I asked. Well, Jane hesitated. I can't believe I'm asking you this. Jane, we're best friends. I would do anything for you. I said. She probably had no idea how much I meant that. If you can help me, Jane was still struggling with the words, if you can help me take this thing off, I can go in and use the bathroom and then you can put it back on me. She finished the last part quickly, still looking at the floor, still blushing furiously. Are you sure, if your mother finds out? I said skeptically. I know, Jane knew what I was thinking. I can't even imagine what she would do next. I'd probably have to wear these things the rest of my life. Well, I doubt it would be that bad. Still, I wouldn't want to test her. I said. Images of my dream last night came to my mind. I'm just going to have to risk it, Jane said with resolve. There is no way I'm going to. You know, in a diaper. Okay, I told her, just tell me what to do. I followed Jane into the living room where she hiked her dress up above her waist. That's when I noticed something strange. Isn't that on backwards? I asked. Mom did that so it would be harder for me to take off, Jane explained, and look, she marked the tape so there would be no way I could line them back up even if I did get it off. Jane turned around and showed me the back. Sure enough, there was a marker line through each tape and onto the diaper itself. Jane went over and laid belly down on the couch with her dress bunched up under her and her diaper fully exposed. Peter, please hurry, Jane said suddenly, I can't last much longer. All her modesty and embarrassment earlier seemed to be eclipsed by her desperation. Completely stunned by what I was about to do, I went over and started carefully undoing the tapes. Peter, hurry, Jane said again. That's when I realized something else shocking. The diaper was almost completely dry. Jane had somehow managed to hold it in all this time, a feat especially amazing for her. I undid the last tape and Jane made a mad dash for the bathroom. After about 10 minutes she re-emerged with a relieved look on her face. Thank you, Peter, she said, looking relieved. I feel much better now. She walked over and laid back down on the couch. All right, put it back on me. But be careful to get it lined up exactly right, Jane instructed. As I went to pull the diaper up between her legs, I noticed her bottom was slightly red and sore looking. Gosh, your mom really did a number on you last night, I commented. I know, please just put the diaper on me, Jane responded, suddenly seeming embarrassed again to be seen like that. I finished taping the diaper onto her, making sure all the lines matched perfectly. You know, Jane, I said as she stood up and let her dress fall covering her diaper, I was thinking. Your mom probably expects you to be wet when she gets home. I mean, she's bound to know there's no way you could make it a whole day without going. Don't you think she might be upset if you are dry? Oh no. I hadn't even thought about that. Jane exclaimed. That's probably what she meant by learn my lesson. Oh well, there's only one thing to do. With that she went to the refrigerator and grabbed a large bottle of soda and downed it on the spot. An hour later I looked on in shock as Jane finished off her fourth large bottle of soda. Come on. Darn it, Jane cried, spreading her feet apart and bending her knees slightly. The effort Jane was putting into her task was etched across her face. I just can't, Jane said, sounding defeated. I've peed my pants, what? At least 1,000 times, she complained, and now that I need to I just can't go. Why won't my bladder cooperate at least once? I don't know, I guess it's just harder to pee on command, I replied. Jane dropped all pretense of modesty and lifted her skirt, displaying her bone-dry diaper. She glared down at the offensive garment as she began massaging her bladder, willing it to release its contents. I guess after so many years of having it pounded into my head that I'm not to pee in my pants, it's just not that easy, Jane admitted. I have an idea, I offered, maybe you can trick your bladder into thinking it's time to go. Since you are normally in the bathroom when you pee, maybe you should try it in there. I'll try anything at this point, Jane said in desperation. She walked out of the room towards the bathroom in the hall. A few minutes later I heard her calling my name. Peter. Can you come in here please? Yes, I asked, stopping outside the door. No, come in here, Jane pleaded. I pushed open the door and for the second time, in the same bathroom, was amazed at what I saw. Jane was sitting on the toilet in just her diaper and her bra. The dress she had been wearing was laying discarded on the floor. Seeing the shocked look on my face, Jane blushed slightly. I didn't want to take a chance on getting my dress wet, Jane explained. If I accidentally dipped it in the toilet, I figured Mom might know I was in here. Figuring it was not the right time to ask her if this was a regular problem, I stood there wondering why she had called me. Can you run some water? Jane asked, answering my unspoken question. I thought it might help me go. I walked over and turned the knob on the tap, allowing cold water to splash down into the sink. Jane closed her eyes and bore down, trying to force any small amount of liquid into the padding between her legs. I wondered if I should leave and give her some privacy, but decided to stay and provide moral support instead. Just relax, I offered, let it come naturally, you're trying too hard. Jane didn't seem to mind my continued presence. It's not that easy, Jane responded. However, I could tell she had stopped pushing and her expression relaxed. Good, now just take some deep breaths and listen to the sound of the water, I prodded her gently. That's it, breathe, breathe. Are you trying to help me pee or have a baby? Jane laughed. That did the trick, as I heard a hiss and looked down to see the wetness spreading through Jane's diaper. The two yellow strips on the front of the diaper turned blue as Jane kept peeing. She peed for what seemed like several minutes before she finally stopped. As Jane stood up, the diaper sagged heavily between her legs. Gosh, I am soaked. I sure hope my mom gets home soon so I can change, she exclaimed. Suddenly she looked panicked. My mom? Peter. She's going to be home any minute. You have to get out of here. Okay, I'll see you at school tomorrow, I said quickly, stealing one last glance at Jane in her sodden diaper. As I rushed out the door, I couldn't help but think how cute she looked standing there soaking wet. Really cute, that is, for someone who's just a friend, of course. I started my car quickly and drove down the street. As I came to the end of the block, Jane's mom drove past me in her car. I looked the other way, hoping she wouldn't notice me.